morning everybody, welcome back to another video. It's a beautiful November morning, a little bit chilly, says air temp's 12. It probably is today. It was a lot colder yesterday, it still said 12. The beautiful sun is shining. What more could we ask for apart from maybe less wind and a bit warmer? But anyway, it is mid-autumn actually, because autumn doesn't finish until December 21st, or December 20th, as I recently found out. Anyway, purpose of today's video, title probably explains most of it, but I'll go through it. So, some of you with the Africa Twin get wind buffeting and noise, and it can be a little bit confusing as to what is what does what causes what, right? Something to factor in here is we are all different. We are all different heights, shapes, sizes. We've all got a different riding style. Some are very upright, some are a bit more down like this. And all those different factors will play into it, including the clothing you wear. And that includes your neck tube, buffer thing, your helmet. So, what are the differences then? Or what are the two things that I'd like to eliminate in this video and the next one? Well, I get a lot of wind noise and I get a lot of buffeting. What is buffeting, you might ask? Well, buffeting is the air that we are riding through, cutting through, if you will, becoming turbulent, coming up over the screen or around the side of the screen or even off the handguards or the fairing, tumbling and contacting your helmet and your chest. Now, I've always had naked bikes. Duke was naked. The Shiver was naked. That's nice. Learner tries to run me over. The Shiver was naked. The Fantic's naked. The KTM's naked. This is my first real faired bike, and I have to say, I don't really like the fairing part of it. I'm fine with taking wind on the chest at 100 miles an hour. I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is the buffeting and the noise. Now, there's two things we've got to identify is what is actually the buffeting and what is the noise. Now, the buffeting, as we get up to speed, is, as I said, the turbulent wind. So at the minute, when you're turning, it's coming that way. When you turn, it's coming that way. It's currently coming over here, and it's, you can't see, but it's hitting on the top of my helmet on here, and making my head shake a little bit, which causes noise as well. But it's the buffeting, it's the I can feel it on the top of my shoulders as well. If I was 2 inches taller or 4 inches taller, I'd be up here, and it's not buffeting my helmet anymore, it's just hitting me in the chest. And that's why I'm not. Now, is that also where the wind noise is coming from? So, yes and no. Yes, it is, because you can't blow wind at force against a static object, or a static-ish object, not immovable, just static, without creating some noise, can you? Even if you blow on a balloon, that transference of energy, which is kinetic energy, yeah, creates something. It creates sound waves which are then resonated. Your helmet is fiberglass, plastic, whatever it is, and takes that wind and then resonates it around your skull. But if you stop the buffeting by doing this, you don't get that wind noise from the wind anymore, blowing on it from the buffeting. What you get is actual wind noise created by your helmet, and that comes in from there, underneath your helmet. I don't know if you've used something called the, oh god, what's it called? Windjammer, that's it. I've got a video on one, maybe I'll link it to the description. I've got one on my AGV K3SV, I haven't got one on any of my other lids. I won't bother going into why, but I just haven't. Now that wind is coming up from below, and it's this opening here, underneath, that creates that. Because it's a flat surface with a hole in it and your melon, and you can't make it airtight unless you use something like a windjammer or a sock around it, which is what I said earlier about your clothing and your choice of clothing and your neck roll and all of that. The more you pack it out, the less wind noise you'll get. Now, where does that wind noise come from? Well, on a naked bike, as in it hasn't got a fairing, it comes from straight in front of you because there's nothing to stop the air. On a bike like this with a big old fairing, it can't come from there, can it? So where does it come from? It comes from down here. This tunnel, this nice little wind tunnel that Honda have put in, and that is coming from. So if you put your head down here, you'll feel your neck getting cold because the wind's blowing up here at an angle. So the first thing we're going to do is eliminate the wind noise, because the wind noise, in my opinion, is worse than the buffing. I can deal kind of with my head jiggly jangling, shaking around and all that, yeah? And that will be the next thing to fix. But what I can't deal with is the wind noise. because that's the thing that makes your ears ring for the next, you know, the following day sometimes. I mean, I'm getting a lot of wind on my helmet now, but I'm also getting a lot of wind coming from down there up under my chin, which I'd like to kind of eliminate. So we're going to head back now, and it's a very simple job. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Allen bolts. It comes with a little riser spacer thing to let the air channel out rather than push it back down, which I'll explain when I get it out. There's a lot of crosswind today as well, so maybe it's a bad day for doing this video. But if you just put a flat object over the top of that, it would create lift. And we don't really want lift, do we? Because we'd have to put a diffuser down there at the forks in order to stop the fairing and the tank lifting. And we don't want that, because at speed, the last thing you want is your front wheel lifting up unintentionally. I mean, if it lifts up because of power, because you're doing dank wheelies, then hell yeah. The more the merrier. But lifting because of wind? Hell no. Fuck that shit, man. So let's head back to the garden workshop. In fact, we'll probably do it in the car park rather than bother going into the garden workshop, because there's only 4 Allen bolts. Yeah, we'll go into the garden-ish workshop and install it, and then go back out for a second ride. Oh, I forgot about how tight this roundabout can be. I was too busy talking. And a bit of a jink left. Use all of that tyre if we can, and all of that lane. You know, I'm at 720 miles now. I'd say I'm still pretty new to an Africa Twin, considering I've done those 720 miles in 3 rides pretty much. Maybe 4 rides now. Yeah, 4 rides now. But it is so confidence inspiring. Yes, it's very flat on the sides and blows you all over the shop. But what doesn't? If you've come from a big GS with a massive fairing, or another bike that's got a massive fairing, then yeah, this would probably be a bit of a shock. If you've come from naked bikes and dirt bikes, this is luxury. This is like the QE2. Anyway, let's get back. Okay then, people, please do excuse the wind. Essentially, that's what we're going to get. We can go from that open bit there to this little cover here, which will sit over here. Like I said about that gap, there's a gap here for the wind to come out and a gap there for it to come out, so that you don't get too much lift, because otherwise it's going to be the complete opposite of downforce. So let's start by removing these 4 Allen bolts, shall we? The first of the front ones in. And then the second of the front ones in. Now on this side, like I said, you get a spacer to lift it up. You can see that, I presume. So that goes underneath and the screw drops through the top. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. For fuck's sake, China. Okay, so this might not be getting fitted today after all. And I'll show you why once I've just finger tightened that one. The reason is because more good quality Chinese componentry. Look at the state of that. The Allen bolt head is filled up. I'll see how tight I can get it with my fingers. Not very, because as with everything from China, it's got an imprecise thread as well. And the Allen keys, different sizes. Who could have seen that coming, eh? They do say buy cheap, buy twice, but you know. I do like to try these things first. And it's not like I haven't got a top-notch set of Allen keys here. These are Wera hex keys. Well, technically, if you're German, they're Vera, I guess. Because W's are V's, yeah?
Right, well, for the time being, cut, because I'm going to have to go and get some pliers on that. Can't remember if this was Amazon or if this was eBay. It's kind of down.
So here we are back again. It's been fitted, what do you reckon? I mean, that bolt's an absolute wanker. I've had to do that up, as you've seen, with a pair of pliers. And I shall complain, because now it's scratched where I've had to do that up. You can't, I mean, you can't really drill that out. That's not drillable, unless it happens to snap off to the shape that it is. Because otherwise you're just going to round out the head, which it doesn't have anyway, so it's pointless. I might as well just grip it. It's ruined as it is. So they'll have to replace that, wherever it came from. I did buy it quite a while ago, but it couldn't have been more than 2 months ago, because I've only had the bike 2 months-ish, I hope. So anyway, it's on. Let us hit the road and see if it makes any difference whatsoever. Now, I'm not wearing my earplugs today, because I do invariably forget them, because I'm naughty like that. You know, some people don't wear them at all, but I have got them. I do wear them when I remember. Holy shit, look at the size of that spider. I do wear them when I remember, but if I forget them, then this is why this is important, because wind noise, when you ain't got your earplugs in, can be a real problem, and that is where you'll get tinnitus, or tinnitus, or whatever you want to call it. Essentially, that continual buzzing in your lug holes, right down inside them, that goes into your brain pretty much. And it's horrible. So let's head to the highway. Right, we are at the dual carriageway. So we've got some speeds to get up to now. There's the side wind. Okay, so first term impressions are, shit, I bet that thing works. Works at 60 anyway. Here, there's no wind up my chin. Here I've got it a bit anyway, because it's coming over there and there, which I'm fine with that. But here, when I was on the motorway on Friday, when it was like, well, it felt like about 2 degrees, if that, with obviously the wind chill as well, it was a lot colder than that. When I was tucked behind the screen so I wouldn't get obliterated by the wind, that's where the wind was coming up underneath and going up my chin worse. So in this position, here, right here, I can see over the screen, there's so little wind noise up underneath. Like I say, I haven't got my earplugs in, so I'm picking up the differences quite clearly. I've got a lot of side wind, which again, like I said earlier, this isn't an ideal day for testing, really. Why were you indicating right, you penis? Oh, I don't know if I get my knickers in a twist sometimes. Right, you know what? We might as well do it now. I have been warned about this. Next step, let's go back and change the screen. You'll see that in another video. So then, right, don't forget to share, like, subscribe and all that good stuff, because, you know, I would like this channel to be something rather than just my mental health, you know, maintainer. And that counts on you guys, the people that are watching this, to like it, to share it, subscribe, and do a comment down below. I don't care if you say potato. In fact, there you go, everyone just say potato, because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, which means more people will get to see it, which means I'll then be happier. And what you want is me to be happy, don't you? Because, you know, who wants me to be miserable? That's not fair. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.